The the Piscataway Township Planning Board meeting will please come to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following ways. Notice published in the Courier News, notice posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, notice made available to the township clerk, notice sent to the Courier News and the Star Ledger. Ms. Buckley, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Waller,
Present.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Here.
Ms. Corcoran,
Here.
Ms. Saunders,
Here.
Reverend Kenny,
Here.
Mr. Atkins,
Here.
Mr. Foster,
Here.
Mr. Ahmed,
Here.
Mr. Echeverria, I don't think is coming this evening, and Madam Chair.
Here. Can we please hear the open public meeting notice?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I'd just like to place on the record, we're doing this meeting through an online meeting platform in keeping with the guidelines that have been disseminated by the Department of Community Affairs. Planning Board has tried its best to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act and the DCA guidelines. In addition, the applicants whose matters will be heard this evening had the login information for the online meeting platform put forth in their notice. Members of the public who wish to be heard will be afforded an opportunity as if they were in an actual physical space. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You can see the flag over my shoulder. Can we all recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all. Okay, thank you. Can we have the swearing in of the professionals, please?
Yes. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Barlow, are there any changes to our agenda tonight?
I will say this, Madam Chair, as Ms. Buckley has been working overtime on this agenda. As of the revised agenda of November 12th, 2025, there are no changes to that agenda. There are 17 items listed from the meeting call to order to number 17 adjournment. So as to that most recent agenda, there are no changes that I am aware of.
Okay, thank you. Well, item number 7, can I have a motion to pay the duly audited bills?
Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I'll make that motion.
Carol Saunders, second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 8, adoption of resolutions to memorialize action. Ms. Saunders.
Madam Chairman, sorry. I'd like to memorialize application 24 PB07 Raven Heights LLC for final major subdivision.
Can I get a second?
Reverend Kenny, I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Would you proceed with item A under that for Raven Heights, Ms. Saunders?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, because I didn't adopt the minutes first. I did skip right to Raven
Well,
Heights.
minutes are later, so you're on B.
Oh, okay.
No,
You're on
number
B. Okay.
Oh, that was Raven. Okay. You
yes.
did. Okay. So B.
Okay.
Item number B.
Okay. I'd like to memorialize application for 25 PB 03/04V Savar Karmi Natari G for minor subdivision. Sorry for the pronunciation.
Do I have a second?
Dawn Corcoran.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to memorialize the resolution for application 25 PB 05/06 1700 Washington Avenue Investments LLC for preliminary and final site plan.
Do I have a second?
Reverend Kenny, I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
yes,
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 9, adoption of the October 8th minutes. Ms. Saunders.
And Madam Chairman, I'd like to adopt the minutes from the regular meeting of October 8th, 2025.
Second?
Reverend Kenny, I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
yes,
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 10, discussion, adoption of the 2026 Planning Board calendar. Has everyone had a chance to review the calendar? Do they have any objections or additions or corrections? If not, I'll take a motion to accept them.
Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I make a motion to adopt the calendar.
Do I have a second?
Mike Foster, I second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
yes,
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 11, a discussion of whether the property designated as Block 6702, Lot 3.03, shown on page 67 in the Piscataway Township tax map, being commonly known as 201 Centennial Avenue, meets the criteria to be determined as a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment.
Good evening, board members. I'm James
Mhm.
Clarkin of Foresight Planning. I'll be presenting the investigative study for you.
Okay.
All right.
You might proceed.
All right. You can all see that? Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as you said, this is block 6702, lot 3.03, or better known as 201 Centennial Avenue. So I prepared this report. It's dated October 22nd. I will roll through it and I can take any questions at the end. So yourselves, the planning board, I think maybe a month or two ago, via resolution number 25-203, was recommended a preliminary investigative analysis of this property, and this is the result, as I mentioned. So as typically, I go through lots of different information like the tax maps of the town, zoning, maintenance, building records, photos, police records, master plan, zoning map, all of that, to put this entire report together. I did 2 formal on-site inspections, one on September 4th, and then another one on October 19th. The 4th was a weekday, I believe around 3:30, and then the 19th was actually on a Sunday, to gather some additional information. The next page just goes through the redevelopment process. I'm not going to read through all of that, as I'm sure all of you are very familiar with it, as we've done this a number of times here. So on to the study area description. So this property has frontage on Centennial Avenue, with Interstate 287 directly behind it, if you're looking at the building. Entrance and exit to 287 is less than a mile southwest, where Centennial meets River Road. It's actually located in your light industrial zone, LI5. And it's about 17.43 acres in size. It's entirely developed. It's got a 232,175 square foot office complex, along with an associated parking area that's partially covered by solar panels. And it's one complex, but it's actually 2 buildings, and it's connected. Those 2 buildings are connected by an at-grade corridor. So one building is about almost 130,000 square feet of office space. And then the other one is actually used as a data center, which is roughly 102,000 square feet. office building is 3 stories high, where the data center is really 1, maybe 1.5 stories. Total parking currently on the site is almost 900 parking spaces, 893. There's actually 2 access drives from Centennial and then another access drive from Kingsbridge Road. And it also has loading and parking in the rear. So I'm gonna jump down to the map to kind of walk you through. So as you can see, 287 right behind it. Sorry, it's being a little slow. There we go. Centennial on the front. So this building right here on the left is actually the data center, and then it's got its own parking. And then it's actually got a little bit of a equipment yard. I think they're chillers right here. The blue line is outlining the entire property. And then on the right is the 3-story office building. And then you can see the rest of the parking area with the solar, the canopy solar above. Yeah, the access drive here, here, and then also here. And then I believe there's an access drive that runs all the way across to connect the site. And then right behind it, that's an image of 30 Kingsbridge, if you remember, we did a couple years ago. So with that, I will skip back to go over some background a little bit more. So I dug into your building permit and zoning records. Currently, the data center building is operated by a company called Digital Fortress, and it's actually on behalf of Verizon. So they're basically the operator and maintainer of their data center. That building, the data center, was constructed in 1974, and then the 3-story office building in 1985, specifically for Verizon employees. Well, back then, probably Bell. But these uses didn't change over time, and as far as I could see, the next time they came before the board was in 2014 to install the first solar system. Then they came back again in 2019 to finish with the solar installation over the parking lot. I noticed that some permits were pulled to install EV chargers in both parking lots over the last 5 years, but there really has not been much since. I didn't see any permits pulled since 2022, which indicates no improvements of any kind for over 3 years. In fact, the last one was for a backflow preventer, which seems like general maintenance and not tenant related at all. Verizon did inform us that it was last occupied in 2020 prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, and that the only active tenant, Digital Fortress, is in the data center, and it's really only 3 to 4 employees maximum at any given time. As usual, I do the environmental screening. Nothing came up of any note, so like no wetlands, no contamination, no endangered species, nothing of any environmental concern. The study area is in the sewer service area, so it can take advantage of existing infrastructure. I'm sure you're all pretty well aware of what's along the Centennial Corridor: more light industrial warehouses, commercial office spaces, a hotel, religious facility. Caterpillar's got a rental space there. So those are all the different kinds of uses along the corridor. And then you have some residential a little further south of Centennial. From a master plan perspective, as you all know, you're very familiar with your master plan. This is definitely an older section of the township, so this was really ripe for redevelopment. As I mentioned, it was originally developed in the 70s and the 80s, so I definitely think this qualifies as an older section and can definitely benefit from adaptive reuse and redevelopment efforts. Regarding state planning, you're in the planning area 1, which is metropolitan planning area, so that always is good for redevelopment. Moving on to the report, page 6 is where I list the statutory criteria. You are all very familiar with that, so I'm just gonna skip along a couple pages to the good stuff. Analysis of the study area conditions. All right, so these were the photos that I took on the 2 site visits. So the first one is a view of the data center parking lot. As you can see, this was like 3:30, 4 o'clock. There were no spaces occupied. When I was there, I think I counted a total of 4 cars, 3 of them being ours, the visitors. So that coincides with the very limited employees on the site. Another view on the other side of the parking lot where the solar canopy is, as you can see, completely empty. The EV chargers I mentioned in the rear of the property also being underutilized and not used. And now we're getting inside. So this is an inside view of the data center. This is kind of like the hallway. As you can see, it looks like the floors are ripped up and a little dilapidated. And then the next photo kind of shows an empty, unused office space within that same building. Once again, this is in the data center building, hasn't been used for some time. And then the next one is actually in the office space building, which is the 3-story building. So this is like the lobby. So it's pretty clear that they're wheeling stuff out, ripping stuff up. Hasn't been used in over 5 years. Here's another good view of just equipment laying down that they're probably going to ship out. Lots of boxes lying around. You know, nobody's really looked after for some time as they're not using it and probably trying to get rid of equipment. I think these next 2 photos are on the 2nd floor, so you can kind of just see some of the desk spaces that were being used when it was in use. And then this is a good photo. So this is actually like looking towards Centennial. So you're looking like the whole length of the building is just rows and rows of empty computer banks just not being used at all. Some empty conference rooms, abandoned equipment. You know, it's very clear that employees have not used this space for a very long time. And then these are some additional photos of the data center. So there is a portion of the data center that is in operation. I'll get into that, but most of it is more like this, where it's just unused space. Excuse me. Here's another really good example. You know, you can see electrical infrastructure for the existing data center, but the rest of it is not in use. It's just plain blank walls, blank floors, very underutilized. And here, I think, is the final photo. So now we have to apply the statutory criteria based on the conditions that I saw in my investigative analysis. So I'm going to start with the B criteria. So I'll just read it for the record. The discontinuance of the use of a building or buildings used for commercial, retail, shopping malls or plazas, office parks, manufacturing and industrial purposes, the abandonment of such building or buildings, significant vacancies of such building or buildings for at least 2 consecutive years, or the same being allowed to fall into so great a state of disrepair to be untenantable. So based on the evidence that I gathered and that you just saw, I believe that this office park of buildings has significant vacancies and abandonment for at least 2 consecutive years under the B criteria. And I'll dive in a little bit more into that. And it really was from the property owner. Yeah, they fully disclosed that, you know, Verizon employees have not used this since COVID. You know, it happened, they never came back. And that was very clear that all 130,000 square feet of it is vacant. And they worked at remote or other locations. So therefore, it has been significantly vacant for over 2 years. And Verizon has indicated to the property owner that it has no plans to return and has abandoned the office use. And then, excuse me, sorry. Moving on to the data center portion of the site, I also find that to be significantly vacant, mainly for the reason that Digital Fortress, who operates that small data center, is occupying much less than 50% of the 102,000 square feet found within the whole building. And that condition has existed for over 2 consecutive years. I already mentioned 3 or 4 employees that are only there at one time. So it's very significant underutilization of both spaces. And clearly, you know, I mean, I don't know what more else to say. It very clearly indicates the significant vacancy for both parts of the building. And that was very clear from both the site and the information gathered. And then just to take that like a little bit further, you know, like there's an overwhelming non-use of 900 parking spaces. So it's very underutilized for 3 employees. Whether employees are deciding not to use it or directed to, doesn't matter. It's been abandoned and not in use. So therefore, in my professional opinion, I find that the study area meets the B criteria. Moving on to the D criteria, as I mentioned, significant portion of the study area is dedicated to parking. And I find that this condition is clearly obsolete and really is kind of a faulty layout, mostly because almost all those parking spaces are not needed. So it's a severe underutilization of developable land. And on top of that faulty arrangement, as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic turned on a really big spotlight on the ineffectiveness of centralized office space. And this is very clear in just, you know, national and state trends, downward trends, I should say, of office space utilization. So therefore, I find that the study area has excessive land coverage. Its obsolete nature of the office building and parking lot combined means that it's obsolete and meets the criteria, the D criteria. And then I will say that you do have to tie this to some sort of detriment to the township. So I find that this results in lost productivity, diminishing land values, declining tax rateables, and a lack of just employees availing themselves of township businesses. So all that together, I find, in my professional opinion, that the site meets the D criteria of the local redevelopment housing law, as the primary use is functionally obsolete. And then typically I include the H criteria, or better known as the smart growth planning principle or planning criteria. You know, given it's really easy to redevelop this and tap into existing infrastructure. You're right next to 287, you can get right on, whether it's employees or you know, any sort of transportation needs of the future redevelopment could be utilized easily. And then you're in the existing sewer service area, so it's really easy to tap into existing infrastructure. So overall, it's my professional recommendation that the Piscataway Township Planning Board and the Township Council determine that the study area, Block 6702, Lot 3.03, is in need of redevelopment because it meets the criteria B, D, and H. And that is really the crux of my presentation. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, members of the board. Any questions of this?
Madam Chair, it's Councilwoman Cahill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was had a couple of questions. Seeing that Verizon had, I guess, spoken to the landlord, and you were able to get some information about them not returning. Do we know when their lease is up?
I don't think they told me that information, but I think it was pretty clear that they had no intent of renewing if there was a lease left.
Okay. But if there's a lease left, do they have the right to use this space if they wanted to? Is that correct legally?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
Okay. And did they indicate when they were going to take the rest of their items out of that building? Or
It looked like it was in process.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would
Alright.
think soon. Yeah.
And I think the last question I have is around the solar canopy and the electric charging stations.
Mm.
I mean, you know, obviously, if somebody owns the land, they have the right to do with it. But those were fairly new,
Yeah.
especially the canopy. So, is there any sort of, I don't know what you might consider it, any sort of regulations to not pulling those out, or the canopy, or leaving some of it? I mean, it seems
Yeah.
like an awful waste.
I would 100% agree. And I think that is definitely an item for the redevelopment plan. You know, really working with the redeveloper, we're like, let's keep some of this. Can you reuse it somehow? Even if you have to move, you know, rearrange it a little bit, you know, you have the materials on site. So
Yeah.
I can definitely speak with the redeveloper on that.
It's just, listen, I used to support Verizon, so I've been in that building many times,
Oh, okay.
and it had actually just gone through a huge redo. So,
yeah, if you remember the last presentation I did, it seems like a common theme, you know, renovate and then leave.
yeah. All right. Well, those were my questions. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank
Eh,
you.
Other members of the board have questions? Okay, I suppose we should open it up to the public. Ms. Buckley? Anyone in the public have any questions of this application or this witness?
No,
Seeing
Madam Chair.
Seeing no response. If there's no more questions, members of the board, what's your pleasure?
Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I'd like to make a recommendation to the Township Council that the property be designated as a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment.
Do I have a second?
Reverend Kenny, I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Barlow, we don't have a resolution or remember?
We do, Madam Chair. We can either do that now, or if you want to just wait to the end and move on to the next application, but. Ms. Saunders
Why don't we
has it,
get,
I believe.
Madam Chair, why don't we clear it out of the way now?
Okay.
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 Ms. Saunders, do you have the resolution regarding this recommendation for the council?
Madam Chair, I'd like to memorialize the application for the area in need of redevelopment study for block 6702, lot 3.03.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second,
Mr.
Councilwoman
Foster,
Cahill.
I second it.
Okay.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
For now, anyway. Item number 12 and 13, Ms. Jennings, you have two matters on for solar landscape. Item number 12 is 25 PB 09/10V is in Victor for Solar Landscape LLC for a preliminary and final site plan. That's the first one.
Good evening, Madam Chair. My name's Jason Church. I'm here for Ms. Jennings. Ms. Jennings had to
Okay.
be at another hearing tonight,
That's
but
fine.
I am here. So as you mentioned, there's two applications tonight for two separate properties.
Oh, you're echoing.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
So
So far.
Okay. There are two applications for two properties tonight, so I'm going to give an opening statement for both matters at once rather than repeat myself a second time. Some of the testimony the witnesses will give will also pertain to both properties. I'll reference back to it, but again, not in order not to repeat it. I'm not going to have them do it twice, but I'll make it clear what pertains to both properties and what does not. So unless you prefer I did it separately for both properties, it's up to you.
Mr. Barlow, do you have any objection? Is there?
Jason, I could foresee a problem though. If not that I foresee an appeal, but the transcript might be messy.
So I think we'll be ordering the transcripts for both for one. We would do that as a matter of course. So for both all in one transcript. I think though, my opening statement will pertain to both, and the applicant's representative will provide some testimony that pertains to both, but I don't actually believe that my planner or my engineer will be discussing them together. So it's really just I have the applicant's representative here just to speak to her role in the organization as well as what Solar Landscape does in a broader sense. And so I don't see it. I don't think it'll be really necessary to. We'll split that out, and then I'll have her speak about that, and then she'll get into the specific property after that. So I don't think it'll be too unclear in the transcript, if that's okay.
All right, well, why don't you start and we'll
All right.
We'll see how it goes.
Fair enough. All right. So my opening statement will pertain to both. Good evening. We're here tonight seeking site plan approval with with a bulk variance to install rooftop community solar systems at two properties located at 150 Old New Brunswick Road, identified as block 4501 lot 1.03 on the township's tax maps, and 1570 South Washington Avenue, identified as block 5101 lots 5.02 and 6.02 and 7.02 on the township's tax maps. Both properties exceed 20 acres and are located in redevelopment areas that permit industrial uses. By way of background, the applicant, Solar Landscape LLC, is the premier commercial rooftop solar developer in the country. As the leader in commercial real estate clean energy development, the applicant has invested heavily into its building capabilities to support the next phase of its growth. This past year, the applicant has secured $847 million in project investment and financing, enabling it to continue its growth and create more than 200 commercial rooftop solar projects to power over 50,000 households. On both properties, the applicant is proposing to install solar panels in connection with the Community Solar Energy Program. The state first launched the program as a pilot program in 2018, and in 2023, the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities voted to officially establish a permanent program. Individuals and businesses are now able to greatly benefit from solar energy systems without needing to install solar panels on their own properties. Instead, solar energy is generated off-site for use by members of the program. Members receive several benefits, including paying a reduced energy bill by utilizing clean and renewable energy resources. Significantly, these community solar projects are required to serve a majority of low and moderate income customers. The applicant has been actively involved with the Community Solar Program for several years and continues to install solar energy systems in municipalities across the state. Neither redevelopment area for either property permits principal community solar rooftop systems under their respective redevelopment plans. However, the municipal land use law at NJSA 40:55D-66.11 provides that a solar energy system is permitted as a principal use on property which is at least 20 acres in size and zoned for industrial uses. Because the property fits both criteria set out by the MLUL, the proposed uses are permitted, notwithstanding the redevelopment plans. Both proposals require variances to allow equipment in the front yard, however. Though this standard is set forth as a conditional use standard in Ordinance 21-1014, because the MLUL provides that this is a permitted use and not a conditional use, the conditional use standards from which a deviation would ordinarily require a D variance from the zoning board become bulk standards which require only a C variance. As a result, this matter is appropriately before the planning board. The record will show that the application conforms with the township's site plan requirements, and the requested variance for each proposal is supported by appropriate planning testimony. In support of the application, in both applications, the applicant will rely on the testimony of the following witnesses: Courtney Breeze, applicant's representative; Ryan Holosi, applicant's professional engineer; and Andrew Janu, applicant's professional planner. As a matter of record keeping, the applicant is in receipt of the board divisions of engineering and planning and development staff reports for both properties, both dated September 15th, 2025, and the division's review letters dated September 19th, 2025 for Old New Brunswick Road and September 22nd, 2025 for South Washington Avenue. So with that, I would like to bring up our first witness for 150 Old New Brunswick Road. This will be Ms. Breeze. Ms. Breeze is testifying as a fact witness, so I won't be offering her as an expert.
Okay.
She, as I mentioned, at first, I'd like her testimony to apply to both. She's going to describe Solar Landscape, her role within the organization, how they do business, how they get work with the BPU and things like that. That'll be equally applicable to both properties. And then I'll have her get into the testimony for the for 150 Old New Brunswick Road specifically. Then we'll bring up the engineer and the planner for that property, and then we'll come back to Ms. Breeze for the other property. And I'm not going to have her repeat the first part of her testimony in the interest of time because it'll just be repetitive, I believe. So, Ms. Breeze, if you could just give us your name for the record.
My name is Courtney Breeze.
If you could just spell your last name, please.
Yep, it's Breese.
And then if you could just provide a brief overview of Solar Landscape.
Yep,
and your
so
role.
I
need to
am
swear in.
Excuse me?
Don't I need to swear in first?
Yeah,
Oh,
has
I'm
to be
sorry.
sworn, Jason.
Ms. Breeze, can you please raise your right hand?
Yep,
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Breeze, if you could describe Solar Landscape and your role with that organization.
Yep, so I am a pre-construction manager at Solar Landscape. We are the leading commercial and community solar developer. We develop, install, and operate solar projects on commercial and industrial rooftops. We've deployed about more than 400 megawatts of renewable energy projects and leased about 100 plus million square feet of commercial rooftops. And that's totaled in over 1 billion in capital investment. We were formed in 2012, and we've also been the forefront of the community solar program since it started in 2019. Company's located in Asbury Park, and we have about 300 employees.
And so can you just explain how you get your BPU approvals and the overview of that process?
Yep. So the projects are awarded to us through the Community Solar Energy Program. So these ones were awarded to us through the 2024 Community Energy Program. And that's run by New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. The New Jersey Board of Public Utilities requires an application be made for review and acceptance into the program. So at minimum to apply, they require an initial site design, conditional approval from the utility, and submission of non-ministerial permits. So that would be like our zoning application that we submitted for these projects.
And can you explain the benefits of community solar for us?
Yep. So it's electricity at a discounted rate for residential homeowners. We like to market for this through the towns. We send out newsletters. We host information centers at libraries, senior centers, and standard advertising in newspapers. It's a state requirement that 51% must go to low moderate income households. When interested parties apply, that is covered in the application process. And the 51% cannot be diverted to non-LMI households or specific individuals.
LMI being low and moderate income?
Yes, correct. And then
how do the customers receive the benefits?
So they will see it, they sign up for the program, and then they will see that on their utility bills. So I mean, they'll get one bill from the utility company, and there will be a section on it that will show the discount they received from the community solar initiative that they signed up for.
All right, and I'm sorry, what was the discount for the? I'm sorry. All right,
This
so
one is
that's really the overview. I'm going to come back now, and we're going to talk about this specific site. So while we're on the topic of the engaging households, what is the discount that households will see on this particular project?
So this one is 33% discount rate.
Okay. So can you explain how you selected 150 Old New Brunswick Road as a site for this project?
Yeah, it's pretty common amongst all the projects that we choose. We have our due diligence that we do to determine and evaluate the buildings for potential community solar usage. This includes utility grid availability and capacity, the amount of roof space on the building, age of the existing roof, the structural integrity of the building, and then also the interest of the community and the building owner as well.
I mentioned in my opening that we're seeking a variance to allow equipment in the front yard. Can you explain why? Obviously, you're not an engineer, so we don't need to get into specific engineering testimony, but can you explain why we're putting it in the front yard in sort of general terms?
Yeah, so the designs that we have are collaborative designs with the utility. So really the location is picked based upon the due diligence of the property, and the area in the front yard was a good clear spot, but it'll also cause minimal disturbance to the property.
As far as, can you explain, again, you're not an engineer, but can you explain, why, how it's roof mounted, what kind of equipment you're using in general terms?
Yep. So we have inverters that will be installed on the roof. And then we also, the ground equipment, which is what will be installed in the front yard, is transformer and switchboard. So the transformer is the unit that converts the voltage to match distribution voltage so that it can be connected to the utility grid. And then the switchboard, it's a control and protection device with breakers and a disconnect that's much like the utility panel in an everyday household. It's just obviously larger.
Okay. And can you confirm the lifespan of the panels? that
Yep,
you use?
25 years.
And what is the decommissioning process for that like?
So Solar Landscape, we do have a decommissioning plan. And if that wasn't shared, we can of course share that with everyone. But per our agreement with the property owner, all solar facilities must be removed and leased property must be returned to its original condition prior to the installation.
Can you tell us about how you're going to maintain the panels?
Yeah, we have an operations and maintenance team. Those teams consist of about it's like a two-man crew. They bring their own equipment, they access the roof safely, and they are OSHA and NFPA certified.
And what about presence on the site? How often will they be there?
So we do biannual inspections. It's not necessary for us to be on site all the time.
Yeah. And as far as cleaning and maintaining them?
We don't clean the panels. We just rely on rainwater as the main source of cleaning them. And then for snow, we don't do snow removal. We just allow it to melt naturally.
And what if there's damage?
So the solar system has a monitoring system that connects to our computers. We can detect any damage, dust, or if something is not operating properly.
And what about cameras? Do you use cameras as part of your operation?
We don't. We rely on the monitoring system to update us with any issues because they are pretty on point with that.
And again, we're talking about a variance for equipment in the front yard. What does the ground mounted equipment do if most of your equipment is on the roof?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
What's the purpose of the ground mounted equipment?
Oh, so again, it's the transformer and the switchboard. So it's kind of like your disconnect to turn off the system if necessary. And then just your transformer that, like you said, it converts the voltage to match the distribution voltage.
And is there a reason it's on the ground and on the roof? Is there a reason you chose to put it on the ground?
The transformer and the switchboard, we have to put those on the ground per utility.
As far as if we're approved tonight, can you tell us about the construction timeline and how construction will work?
Yep, so we're looking at about February, March mobilization and July for mechanical completion.
How many employees does that involve?
It's about 20 to 25 employees, and that also includes a construction manager that overlooks the entire installation process.
And as far as that, those are employees just for the construction. They're not going to be there regularly after construction. Is that right?
Correct, just for the installation.
And again, is there any outdoor storage of materials or equipment?
So we might have panels on the property just because we have to install them, but they will not sit there for any longer than possibly a day. It's just delivery so we can get them up on the roof.
And that's just for the construction phase after it's installed.
Correct. There's nothing being stored on the property after installation.
And has anybody raised any safety or fencing needs?
Nope, no safety concerns, and we haven't seen any needs for any fencing or anything.
As far as sort of how much electricity is going to be generated, can you speak to that?
Yep, so this one is for 150, correct?
Yes,
Old
150.
Brunswick? Okay, so 150 Old New Brunswick, it's going to be about 785 homes that'll be powered by this system, which is 6,455 kilowatt hours per year, and that's about 8,546 panels.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have for Ms. Breeze.
Okay, members of the board, do you have any questions of Ms. Breeze? Hearing no questions from our board, I'd like to open it to the public. Members of the public, do you have any questions of Ms. Breeze's testimony? Would you please indicate by raising your hand?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Mr. Kirchian.
Thank you. I'm going to next call our engineer, Mr. Holosi.
Mr. Holosi? Oh, yes. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
Holosi, Hollollosi.
Thank you.
Tom,
Your
do you want me
witness.
to
You can get
establish
up.
his credentials, or do you like to do that?
Nope, you do that.
Okay,
It's your witness.
sure. Mr. Holosi, can you just tell us what firm you're with at first?
Yeah, I'm a project manager with Short Point Engineering. I'm a licensed professional engineer at the state of New Jersey since 2024. My license is current and in good standing, and I've testified in front of numerous boards, including the Piscataway Zoning Board, but never in front of this board.
And it's just, can you just give us your educational background?
I'm a civil engineer from the College of New Jersey.
I'd ask that the board, based on that, accept Mr. Holosi's credentials as an
He's
expert.
He's accepted.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Holosi, can you just confirm that you're responsible for preparing the site plan that was submitted to the board?
Yes.
And can you just describe the existing conditions there?
Yes. I would like to pull up my exhibit. Can everyone see that?
We'll call this
Yes.
We'll call this A1.
Yes, please.
Yes, so this exhibit is basically just an aerial image with the proposed panels and ground mounted equipment. As stated before, this property is known and designated as Block 4501, Lot 1.03, and it's containing 41.4 acres. And is located within the 150 Old New Brunswick Road redevelopment zone. It has frontages along Old New Brunswick Road and Roma Boulevard, with industrial uses all around the property, and the site is currently developed as an industrial warehouse / office building with associated parking.
And can you describe our proposal, the applicant's proposal?
Yes, the applicant is seeking approval to construct roof-mounted solar panels and associated ground-mounted equipment on the existing building. We are requesting a bulk variance for the ground-mounted equipment in the front yard. The ground-mounted equipment includes new utility poles, a transformer, a switchboard, and other associated equipment in the front of the property. The location of the ground-mounted equipment was chosen based on discussion with PSENG and location of the existing utility poles. The proposed screening for the equipment will be the 3 proposed evergreens, ranging from about 6 to 8 feet tall, and there is no existing trees are being removed. And there is also existing screening on the site, which includes fencing and landscaping.
And if you could maybe with your cursor just kind of show us where all this is happening. I see there's sort of those 3 green
Yes.
shapes
Yes.
there.
And I also have another exhibit, which is just a zoomed in of the ground mounted equipment with the proposed trees.
So we'll
Call
call
it
this
A2.
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 This is the equipment exhibit. So it's in I guess, the southwestern corner of the property. Is that right?
Yes.
That the ground mounted equipment, obviously I'm alluding to there. Can you just go back to the aerial, please? You could just kind of show us with your cursor, where the fencing is.
The fencing is along the property.
Okay. And so, and we have 2 front yards, is that right?
Yes. Old New Brunswick Road and Roma Boulevard.
Okay. And it looks like I don't want to characterize it too much, but around the perimeter of the building, there's a circulation driveway that runs by our ground equipment.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
One of the comments that was raised in the board's review letter was the height of the panels. Can you just speak to the height of the panels that are on the roof?
Yes, the panels lay flat on the roof and add approximately 6 inches of height to the building. But the parapet roof will provide extra coverage from the roof panels. And the roof panels are low glare, and the panels will not exceed the height limitation of the site, which is 50 feet. The existing building is only about 38 feet.
Are we adding height or are we staying below the height of the parapet?
We are, I believe we're staying below, for the solar panels, we're staying below the parapet. For the inverters, I believe we're going to be a couple feet above that. But again, still under that 50 feet.
But we're going to be under the maximum height. That's right?
Yes, we'll be
for the
under the
zone.
maximum height of 50 feet.
All right. Then the panels, will you be able to see the panels from the ground?
No, the panels will be completely blocked from the parapet roof.
And are we doing any grading or installing any additional lighting?
No,
Are we going to have any impact on air quality, drainage, noise, odor, any of those things?
no,
Are we going to be impeding circulation around the building or the warehouse's normal business operations?
no, will not be disturbing any of the circulation.
Do you know where we intend on staging our construction? But obviously, the equipment has to be dropped off before it's put on the roof. Do you know where that's going to be?
Right. I believe the applicant works with the owner of the property to determine where the appropriate place for staging would be.
Okay. So that'll be coordinated so that we're not disturbing them
Yes.
for the business operation. Okay.
Yes.
And as the previous witness testified, it was not going to be an extended period of time as either. So it won't cause a major disturbance, if at any disturbance at all. I don't have any other questions for this witness. If you could, if the board has any questions.
Would you take the your exhibit down off the boards? The previous witness?
Please
Yes.
unshare your screen.
Okay.
Madam
Remember-
Chair. Oh, Madam Chair, I'm sorry, it's Dawn Corcoran. I was just curious who will be addressing the various reports.
Oh,
Will it be the engineer?
will be Mr. Holosi. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Any other questions?
If I may, I can have them go through that now.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. So the comments, Mr. Holosi, I'm looking. Well, let's start with the staff review on dated September 15th. There's really, we talked about screening. The screening for the solar, the ground mounted equipment will be, again, we mentioned a fence and the berm in that corner of the site.
Yes.
Yeah. Item 3 in that report refers to fiber optic conduits that'll be added along Old New Brunswick Road and Roma Boulevard. Those aren't shown on the plans. Can that be incorporated into the plan?
Yes, that would be incorporated in the plan. And
And you'll
also,
work
if the board has any specifics on that we'd be open to work with them too on where exactly they would want the fiber optic.
And you'll work with the engineering department in order to reach an appropriate location.
Yes.
As far as those were the comments on the staff review. The review letter is dated September 19th, 2025. There weren't many comments. I'm going to skip to page 7. Well, I'll have the planner address the first comment, which deals with the proofs in support of the variance. So going to number 2 on page 8, we addressed the height issue already. I'm not going to have you get into that again. There's number 3 deals with comments relating to the changes or lack of a change in certain tables. So if I'm gonna just kind of skip back to those tables. Table 1 on page 5 of that report doesn't actually note anything is unchanged, although I will say, just looking at that table, we're not proposing any new variances, obviously, aside from the equipment in the front yard. Everything here is permitted within the maximums or minimums, as the case may be, for each of the bulk standards. Is that right?
Yes.
And then for table 2, relating to parking, let me ask you first, does this use generate a parking requirement under the township's ordinance? Do we have a parking requirement?
No.
No. So we're not adding space to the actual building either. That's correct, right?
Right. We're not disturbing any of the parking.
So all of the parking requirements that were previously imposed on the building aren't going to be changed as a result of this project. Is that right?
No, nothing will be changed.
And then can you just address the wetlands? This is comment 4 on page 8 of that review letter.
Yeah, our ground-mounted equipment is nowhere near the wetland, so we won't be disturbing it.
So the wetlands are on the northern portion of the site. Is that right?
Yes.
And so there's no wetlands near where we're doing any work on the ground or installing any materials on the ground?
Correct.
I should say. As far as we have some proposed landscaping, there were just 3 trees that are proposed that'll act as a screen.
Yes.
And as far as if the township's landscape architect requires anything else, we're obviously, just if you could confirm, we'll work with that person in order to satisfy whatever requirements they might impose.
Yes.
I have no more questions for Mr. Holosi.
Okay, members of the board, do you have any more questions, or I'll open it to the public?
Madam Chair, there was one additional report from fire prevention. It was just that the contractor sent a letter indicated where the emergency shutoff will be located. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are we ready to open it to the public now? Members of the public, you've heard the testimony of Mr. Holosi. If you have any questions about his testimony, please indicate by waving your hand.
No one, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. Members, all right, you have another witness?
I have one more witness. Yes.
Okay, you can call the person now.
Our next witness is our professional planner, Andrew Janu.
Andrew, sorry, I can't see him. Hold on.
Blue shirt, waving his hand.
Oh, okay. I had to scroll over. Okay. Okay. All right. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony about to give you the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
Janiw.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Janu, if you could just give us the benefit of your your license standing, your firm and your qualifications.
I'm a founding member and principal of Beacon Planning and Consulting Services for the last 27 years. We're located at 351 Highway 34 in Colts Neck, New Jersey. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in civil engineering from the New Jersey Institute of Technology. I am a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, as well as a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. Currently serving as the planner for the Borough of Carteret, the Borough of Freehold, and the Township of Livingston, and redevelopment planner for South Amboy and Bayonne. And in 2022, Governor Murphy appointed me to the State Board of Professional Planners.
And have you testified before this board?
Testified before this board, as well as your zoning board, and throughout the state of New Jersey.
Based on that, I'd ask that the board accept his credentials.
His credentials are acceptable.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Janu, have you visited the site?
Yes, so in preparation for this evening, I visited the site. I reviewed the correspondence, review letters, the application package that was submitted to Piscataway. I've also reviewed your ordinance, the master plan, and the pertinent redevelopment plan for this property. And would offer the testimony that this property is situated within the township's 150 Old Brunswick Road redevelopment plan. This is a site of about 41.4 acres, developed with an industrial use. And as was mentioned, and I know was mentioned in the review letters, pursuant to the MLUL, NJSA 4055D 6611, solar facilities are permitted in industrial areas pertaining at least 20 acres. So the use is permitted. The relief that we're seeking this evening is simply for the location of some of the service panels related to the use within a front yard. As was described previously, this is a property at the corner of Old New Brunswick Road and Roma. Those are two front yards. The equipment is situated within the front yard as the point of interconnection that was essentially dictated to us by the utility company. The ordinance does not permit this equipment to be located in a front yard. Therefore, we're seeking relief from that criteria. With respect to moving towards the adjudication of that variance, I'd say that we'd have to reconcile this with your master plan as well as with the municipal land use law. So looking at your master plan, it's very encouraging with respect to energy efficiency and the use of renewable energy sources. And in fact, the 2005 master plan has those 2 points as goals, which are specifically to provide energy efficient land use development and circulation and to encourage the use of renewable energy sources. And when that when the reexamination report to that was done in 2020, those points were reiterated and emphasized, and you are in fact encouraging renewable energy sources throughout the township in order to replace non-renewable sources such as natural gas and oil. That's on page 48 of your reexamination report. As the board knows, variances cannot be granted for the benefit solely of the applicant. There has to be a public purpose. Those public purposes are defined within the municipal land use law and are listed by letter. I believe there are 2 that are on point with this application. The first is to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Renewable energy, as was pointed out in your staff report, is an inherently beneficial use recognized by the state as such. It is something that does promote the general welfare of the public. It is something that should be encouraged. And in fact, this minor deviation that we are seeking is largely inconsequential to the operation of the solar panels. There will be a benefit to the community, and in fact, I think it was testified that it'll generate sufficient power on the roof of an existing building for approximately 785 homes. And more so on point is point N within the MLUL, which couldn't state it more clearly, and that is to promote the utilization of renewable energy resources. We are absolutely on point with that. That brings us to the bulk relief that we are seeking. This is a C variance. We're seeking to adjudicate that C variance under what's known as the balance test, or that the benefits would outweigh any detriment. In order for the board to consider that flexible C variance, we have to identify that the application, relates to a specific piece of property, and it does. That the purposes of the MLUL would be advanced by the application, and I have read into the record 2 points that would be advanced, and that the benefits of the deviation would outweigh any detriment. Again, the benefits of this are a renewable energy source. It's consistent with the goals and objectives of your master plan and subsequent reexaminations. It's a clean, renewable energy resource. And coupled with that, the fact that 51% of the energy generated here will be made available to low and moderate income households, I think certainly the benefits are well defined. With respect to detriment, we have to look at what detriment would be imposed by the location of this equipment within the front yard. It is a corner lot. However, as your staff report points out, it is going to be well screened. It is situated at the corner of the building. There will be landscaping provided to screen it. And in fact, the existing facility was developed with fencing and berms and screening along the roadways. So essentially, it will not be visible from an outside viewing from any of the road frontages. So when we look at any substantial detriment, I don't see any. It's not going to create any noise. It's not going to create any drainage issues. It's not going to create additional traffic. And in fact, once construction is completed, the panels will only have a periodic visit for inspections. And finally, we have to reconcile that the variance will not impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan. In fact, I think the application encourages many of the goals and objectives of the zone plan. Certainly, it's not going to be detrimental to that. So when we look at the flexible C standards and the balance of this, I think the benefits of this application outweigh any detriment. I don't think there's anything that's developed through this application that would become a nuisance to any neighbor or to the community. And essentially, it's about
That's peculiar.
Everyone's muted. I don't know what's.
All right.
Well, except Irina, I don't think.
I
But
saw the control room was.
No, I'm muted. I'm gonna go back on mute now, but yes, I was muted. Sorry.
okay.
All right.
All right, I muted
Continue.
Irina.
Did everyone catch the end of my testimony, or do I need to repeat anything?
Well, why don't you just say like the last sentence? If
Yeah.
Not.
Okay. I'll just say, on balance, the benefits outweigh any detriment, and I believe that the testimony supports the application, a positive outcome of this application.
That's all I have for Mr. Janu, if the board has any questions.
Does the board have any questions of that witness? Okay, we're going to open it to the public. Members of the public, you've heard the testimony of this planner that was presented to you tonight. If you have any questions, please indicate by waving your hand.
No one, Madam Chair.
Okay, close to the public.
Thank you.
With that, I have no more witnesses on this property.
Okay, are you ready for a vote or on this vote, on this property? A motion?
I am, unless the board has any questions or anything further from anybody else.
Okay.
And just to be clear, Madam Chair, this is for 150 Old New Brunswick Road, 25 PB 0708. Just to
make
be
the record clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion from the board? Echo.
That's for Reverend Kenny. So it is, Stephanie, that is you guys. That is something to do.
So Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I'll make that motion that we approve the application for 150 Old New Brunswick Road, subject to all of the staff reports.
Thank you, Ms. Cochran. Do I have a second? That's the second.
I'll go in there in a moment.
Okay. Roll
okay,
call.
So Ms. Corcoran, Reverend Kenny, Mayor Waller?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill?
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran?
Yes.
Ms. Saunders?
Yes.
Reverend Kenny, just wave your hand up. Don't speak. Thank you. Mr. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Foster? Thank you. Mr. Ahmed?
Yes.
And Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
That one is approved.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to move on to 1570 South Washington Avenue. Just a second to change gears. I'm going to not repeat the opening statement I gave at the beginning. I'm going to rely on that for this as well. Just to summarize very briefly, this is also a site that is larger than 20 acres, and it is in a redevelopment area that doesn't have this use. Its principal community solar arrays as a permitted use, but because the lot is well, it's 3 lots, but they're all contiguous under the same ownership, and because combined they're in excess of 20 acres, the uses permitted under the redevelopment plan are industrial, and therefore this is a permitted use. And like the last property, it is ordinarily a conditional use standard, but because it's permitted use and not a conditional use under the MLUL, what would be a D variance becomes a C variance. It's the same variance, which is that we have equipment in the front yard. So with that, I'll call Courtney Breeze again.
Ms. Breeze, you're still sworn in.
Okay.
Ms. Breeze, you obviously testified about solar landscape and about your approval process. I'm not going to have you get into that again. I'm just going to have you provide the testimony strictly for this property. So there was one question though about what the discount rate is for homeowners, which is where we started last time. If you could just tell us what the discount rate would be for this project.
Yep. So for this project, it is also 33%.
Okay. And can you tell us how you landed on 1570 South Washington Avenue as a site for this project?
So same thing as the rest, like we conduct our due diligence on the property. So that comes with like utility grid availability, the amount of roof space it has, the structural integrity of the building, age of the roof, and then also the interest of building owner and the surrounding community.
And again, can you just describe the project that we're proposing?
In what sense?
As far as it's roof mounted, and can you just explain what?
Oh, yes, sorry.
On the roof? Yeah.
Yep, so this one is exactly the same. You have your inverters on the roof, and then we will also be installing transformer and a switchboard on the ground.
And the lifespan of the panels?
25 years.
And can you just explain our decommissioning again?
Yep. So we have an agreement with the property owner and a decommissioning plan. And again, if need be, we do have that written out. We could share that with the board, the town. But it is an agreement with the property owner and all solar facilities. We must remove them from the leased property, and the leased property needs to be returned to the original condition that it was prior to the installation.
And can you just walk us through the maintenance again? Is there anything? Well, give us the whole thing, even though it may be similar.
Yeah, so it's a 2-man crew. They bring out their own equipment. They access the roof safely. These are OSHA certified techs and employees. They do a biannual on-site inspection. And then I could just run through, like we rely on the rainwater for cleaning. We don't do snow removal. We just rely on the melting naturally.
If there's damage, how do you address that?
We have, again, our monitoring system. Those connect to our computers back at the office, so that will detect if like there's any damage or something not working properly with the system.
And can you explain the purpose of the ground-mounted equipment and why it's on the ground and not on the roof?
Yep. So the transformer and the switchboard we have to put on the ground. The transformer is what converts the voltage to match the distribution voltage so that it can be connected to the grid. And then the switchboard is kind of like your panel at home. It has its breakers and disconnect. It's just a lot larger, of course, than your home panel.
Okay. As far as schedule of construction and how construction will work?
We're looking for the same schedule. So about February, March mobilization, and then July for mechanical completion.
And how many people will be on site to do the construction?
Same thing, about 20-25 employees. And again, we have the construction manager who overlooks the entire installation.
And that's just for construction. You won't have employees regularly on the site after construction is complete?
Correct. We don't need to have employees. We, again, have our monitoring system to keep an eye on everything.
And just again, is there outdoor storage?
Just during construction, but then after that, nothing is stored on the property.
And are there any safety or fencing concerns?
Nope.
All right, and as far as the power generated by this project, can you just walk us through that?
Yeah. So this one, it's about 396 homes powered by it. It's 3,260,000 kilowatt hours per year, and that's about 4,406 panels.
Those are all the questions I have for Ms. Breeze.
Members of the board, any questions for Ms. Breeze? Hearing no response, we'll open it up to the public. Members of the public, you've heard the testimony of this witness. If you have any questions, please indicate by waving your hand.
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, close to the public. We're finished with Ms. Breeze, I guess.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Our next witness will be Mr. Holosi again.
Mr. Holosi, you're still under oath, and I assume your credentials have not changed since about 20 minutes ago?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you just describe the property? Well, you have an exhibit. Let's bring that up.
Yes. This will be Exhibit A1. Let me know if everyone can see that.
Yep.
Yes.
So this is again an exhibit of the existing aerial with the proposed the proposed roof mounted equipment and ground mounted equipment. The site is designated as block 5101, lots 5.02, 6.02, and 7.02, and it's containing 21.3 acres and is located within the 1570 South Washington Ave redevelopment zone and has frontages on South Washington Ave, Access Road, and Centennial Ave, with industrial and commercial uses all around the property. And the site is currently developed as an industrial warehouse / office building with associated parking.
Can you just describe what we're proposing to do both on the roof and on the ground?
Yeah, the applicant is seeking approval to construct roof mounted solar panels and associated ground mounted equipment on the existing building. You could see this area where my cursor is. And again, I have the A2 exhibit, which is just a zoomed in version of where the equipment will be going on site. The ground mounted equipment includes new utility poles, a transformer, switchboard, and other associated equipment in the front of the property. The location of the ground mounted equipment was chosen based on discussion with PSENG and the location of the existing utility poles. The proposed screening for the equipment will be the 3 proposed evergreens. Again, ranging from 6 to 8 feet, and there's no existing trees being removed, and there is existing landscape screening to shield the view from the South Washington Ave.
And if you could just go back to the larger aerial and just show us where that screening is.
Right along here.
Okay. And we have 3 front yards, is that right?
Yes.
So can you just, I know that you can only see 2 on this image, but if you could just point them out.
I have the plans previously submitted. You could see
okay.
Access Road, South Washington Ave, and then Centennial Ave is down here.
Okay. Again, we're asking for a variance for equipment in the front yard. That's correct?
Yes.
And we comply with all the other bulk requirements?
Yes.
And one of the issues in one of the review reports, again, like we discussed in the last one, was height. If you could, again, just address the height of the equipment.
Yeah, the panels will lay flat on the roof and add approximately 5 inches to the height. Again, this one will not be exceeding the existing building height is 42 feet, where maximum allowable is 50 feet.
And can you, hold on. Is that, it's actually 55 feet, is that right?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
55 feet. Yep.
Will the panels extend beyond the edge of the roof?
No.
Or will you be able to see them from the ground?
Nope. Again, the existing parapet roof will block the solar panels, and these solar panels are low glare.
Okay. And okay. we're not having to have any impact on air quality, emissions, drainage, glare, any nuisance factors, anything like that?
No.
Are we doing any soil disturbance or grading?
No.
And are we proposing any additional lighting?
Nope.
And as far as circulation, I know this building's a little different. Can you just explain? There's not, 360-degree circulation around this site. Is that right?
Right. So our equipment's proposed at a dead end, sort
Right.
of.
All right, moving on to the review letters. I'm looking at Ms. Buckley forwarded me the the fire prevention report. The one comment on there, it just says we will have to send a letter indicating where the emergency shutoff is. Is that something we're going to do?
Yes.
And so then I'm looking at the staff report dated September 15, 2025. I would just note that number 2 references Old New Brunswick Road. Obviously, I think that was probably a reference to South Washington Avenue, or intended to be. I suppose Ms. Corcoran can correct me if I'm incorrect about that. The number 3 and 4 deal with fiber optic. It's like this last project will work with the engineering department to find a suitable and appropriate installation for whatever equipment they were going to require. Is that right?
Yes.
And there's a comment about pallets being removed before any. Well, do we know whose pallets those are? I'm assuming they're the property owners or tenants there.
Yes. I'm not sure about the pallets on the site.
Yeah, to the extent there are pallets, we'll work with whoever is responsible for those to have them removed.
You see the time?
I heard somebody. We'll work with the pallets that are there. If they haven't been removed already, we'll work with whoever's responsible for them to have them removed. Is that right? Right.
Yes. Yes.
And if I can, I'm so sorry, this is Dawn Corcoran. I just want to say with the pallets, I mean, this has been an ongoing
Oh, it has. Okay.
problem at the site. Code enforcement's been out there several times. Every time they move them, they reappear. So, I mean, it really, it's a recurring problem that really has to be addressed. It's very visible from Centennial Avenue.
We'll work with Prologis to make that happen, Ms. Corcoran.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're aware of the issue, so we'll work with them to address it. Moving on to the review letter dated September 22nd, 2025. I'm flipping to page 7 again. That's where the comments and recommendations start. Number 1, we'll have the planner address. On the next page, number 2, we address the height issue. Just to confirm, the equipment won't exceed the maximum height of the building allowed under the redevelopment plan. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Can you just, number 3 just wants to confirm some of the bulk standards haven't changed. Turning to page 5, which is where table 1 is. The unchanged notes relate to parking aisle width, loading setback, and minimum loading space. Are we going to be changing any of those things?
No.
And again, we're not disturbing any of the operations on the site. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. So whatever is there now will continue to remain, obviously with the exception of the pallets, which we discussed. But other than that, that's correct?
Yes.
And then turning to table 2, which again deals with parking standards. We're not proposing any new parking as a part of this application. Is that right?
No, the parking will not be disturbed.
Okay. All right. So that's addresses comment 3. Comment 4, can you just tell us where the wetlands are?
Yeah, so if we look on our previously submitted plans, you could see the wetlands are located here and all throughout the rear of the property, and our proposed equipment will be out of the buffer zone and not be disturbing any wetlands.
And just looking. And again, if we do have some proposed landscaping. Those are the 3 trees that are shown on the screen in front of us.
Yes.
And if the landscape architect happens to need some other landscaping, we'll work with the township on that. Is that right?
Yes.
And that is all I have for Mr. Holosi.
Okay. If you can remove the exhibit from the screen. Members of the board, any more questions of Mr. Holosi? Okay, hearing no response, I will open it to the public. Members of the public, if you have any questions of this witness, would you please let us know by waving your hand?
No one, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. Okay, board members. You've heard the entirety of this application.
We have one more. We have our planner.
Oh, you have another planner. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
I suspect his testimony will be very similar to the previous application, but in the interest of the record, we're going to bring back Mr. Janu.
Okay.
Good evening. I promise it'll be similar and brief.
Thank you, Mr. You're still sworn in, sir.
Thank you.
And again, your credentials haven't changed.
No, they haven't.
Okay. All right. So if you could just walk us through your preparation and then the analysis of the variance, please.
Certainly. So again, with this application, I have reviewed the application that's been filed, the review letters that have been issued. I've visited the site and I've reviewed your ordinances, the master plan, as well as the redevelopment that was prepared that governs 1570 Washington Avenue. This site is approximately 21.2 acres. It is has 3 road frontages: Sentinel, South Washington, as well as the access road. We are once again proposing roof-mounted solar panels with on-ground distribution panels, if you will, to the road front utility service. That's been dictated to us by the utility company in terms of the location. That is located within a front yard, and that is the sole variance that is triggered by this application. Because this is an industrial property greater than 20 acres, the solar use is as of right, so that we are seeking C variance relief for the location of the panels and transformer within the front yard, and that would be along South Washington Avenue. As I had indicated previously, solar panels and renewable energy resources are something that is encouraged by your master plan and its subsequent re-examination. It is also consistent with, I believe, at least 2 points within the municipal land use law, being something that promotes the general welfare. And as was indicated in your staff reports, solar panels are considered inherently beneficial use by the state legislature. And it also, in fact, is consistent with the on-point purpose of the municipal land use law of promoting the utilization of renewable energy resources. So the variance relief that we're seeking is the location of ground-mounted equipment within the front yard. We are adjudicating that under what's known as the flexible C or the balance test. The test for that would be that in terms of the 3 prongs of the positive criteria, that the application relates to a specific property, and it does. That the purposes of the MLUL would be advanced by a deviation from the zoning ordinance, and I read 2 points that I believe would be advanced into the record. And finally, that the benefits of the deviation would outweigh any detriment. Again, similar to the previous application, the benefit of this is providing a renewable energy source, 51% of which would generate reduced cost power to low and moderate income homes. There was testimony that this would generate sufficient power for approximately 396 homes. And I believe it would do so without any detriment. The location of this ground-mounted equipment, while being in the front yard, is well screened. The area where it is situated, we saw on Mr. Holosi's exhibits, is very well landscaped as it is. We are supplementing that with additional trees in order to make sure it doesn't create any kind of a visual nuisance. With respect to any of the other concerns, such as noise, traffic, trash generation, none of that will occur with this application. So I do believe the variance can be granted without any substantial detriment to the public good, and that the variance will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan, and in fact is consistent with the goals of the master plan. When we look at this on the balance test, I do believe it's a good application and can be reconciled by this board in favor of a positive vote.
And just to confirm, you referenced purposes A and N of the MLUL?
That's correct.
Okay. I have no more questions for Mr. Janu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you completed this application now?
Yes, if the board has any questions, certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Members of the board, you have any questions of this witness? Hearing no response, members of the public, if you have any questions of this witness, would you indicate by raising your hand?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public.
Thank you.
And that would be all of the witnesses for this application, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Members of the board, what is your pleasure on this
Madam
second
Chair.
application?
Can you hear me?
Madam Chair, I would offer that the board accept this application based upon the applicant agreeing to all the terms as laid out by the township.
Do I have a second?
Carol Saunders, second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny.
Yes.
Yep. Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster. There we go. Mr. Ahmed
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
You too.
Madam Chair, they did switch headsets in there. It should be working, but I figure we'll try in the next.
Okay.
Thank you.
No more echoes. Okay.
I'm hoping.
We're down to item number 14, which is 25 PB 12/13V as in Victor Eastern Lift Truck Company. Mr. Arch?
Thank you. Members of the board professionals, my name is Tim Arch. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of New Jersey, and I am here tonight representing Eastern Lift Truck Company Incorporated. We are here tonight seeking preliminary and final site plan approval with 3 minor bulk variances for property located at 281 Centennial Avenue, which is block 4001, lot 5, which is also in the LI5 zone. What we are proposing is to construct an approximately 18,089 square foot addition to the existing building to serve as a service center and to also include an area for outdoor storage on the north side of the property, along with some other site improvements. So the applicant tonight, Eastern Lift Truck, is a company that is currently based in Piscataway, and it's looking to move their operations to 281 Centennial, which I think you know currently as the Binksky site. Sorry, that's hard for me to say for some reason. So they want to stay here in Piscataway, and so they want to move to a site that's more conducive to their operation. So what Eastern Lift does, and you'll hear more about that from Mr. Pruitt, who's my first witness. But what they do is they lease and sell forklifts and other warehouse utility vehicles. They make sure that they're properly maintained and outfitted to suit their customers' needs. And it's actually it's interesting that site is located right next door is the Foley Cat site, which you might be familiar with, and they have a very similar business model to that of my client, and so they're right next door. Although obviously the Foley operation is a much larger scale operation that involves heavy machinery. This is a much smaller scale, but that's why the location obviously makes perfect sense because it's right near another use that is almost running a very similar kind of operation. So we are requesting a few bulk variances. One is for parking, where 153 spaces are required. We're proposing 123. You'll hear that we think that's far more than what is required for the operation on site. And actually, as we just heard from the area need presentation, underutilized parking fields along Centennial are certainly not desirable. So we hope that you grant us that. We also have 2 variances for rear yard and side yard setbacks for the accessory outdoor storage area. Again, you'll hear through our testimony that the area that we're locating it in is appropriate. It's along the rear toward the Foley side of the property, and it's going to be appropriately screened per your ordinances. Also, I want to confirm that we are not seeking relief on fiber optic or on fencing around the basin. We will agree to provide the fiber optic conduit as requested, as well as the fencing around the stormwater basin. There was a previous memo that I think called those out as variances, but we are not seeking those as variances. We do have 3 staff reports tonight. The tri-party staff report We have CME's report as well as the DNR report. We believe that we can comply with all the items in the report. We do have one minor exception on the tri-party report that Mr. Marinelli will discuss, which really concerns I believe it was Mr. Herrera's request to add internal curbing along the north part of the parking field. Mr. Marinelli will go into why we are asking not to do that, because quite frankly, it's going to change stormwater runoff, or the stormwater runoff pattern that's on site already. And I believe he's already spoken to Mr. Herrera, and he's indicated that he would defer to Mr. Carley as to whether that is fine, because it involves stormwater. But I'll let Mr. Marinelli get into that more in his testimony. And I also just want to note that my client is a contract purchaser. So I know that it's Piscataway's preference to always have all easements recorded within 3 weeks of resolution. We can certainly provide those easements and provide the meets and bounds, but as Mr. Barlow will indicate, until we own the property, we can't actually record those documents. So we'll do that. We'll do that promptly, immediately after acquiring the property. So tonight I do have two witnesses. The first is Mr. Dan Pruitt, who is a representative of Eastern Lift Truck. And then we have Mr. Mike Marinelli, who's our civil engineer. So unless there's any preliminary questions of me, I'm ready to begin.
Mr. Arch, just one item. When you mentioned the 3 staff reports, there's also a report from Mr. Katzenberta from Public Works dated October 8th, 2025, just talking about confirming with engineering about the stormwater connection. I assume either Mr. Marinelli will address that or you'll comply with his request.
Correct. I believe Mr. Marinelli will address that in his.
Okay, thank you.
All right. My first witness is Mr. Dan Pruitt.
Hello.
Ms. Saunders, if Mr. Pruitt is here to be sworn in.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to mute. Can you please raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
Pruitt.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Arch.
Thank you. So, Mr. Pruitt, if you can please tell the board, what is your title or position with Eastern Lift Truck?
I'm the owner of Eastern Lift Truck Company and the president.
Okay. Give us a little bit of background as to what Eastern Lift does.
Yeah, I thought you'd ask that, Tim, and since I've worked here for 41 years, I could talk a lot longer than I think anybody wants. So I just wrote down 3 paragraphs. Eastern Lift Truck Company is a forklift truck distributor. We provide sales, service, leasing, rentals, and parts to nearly every industry there is. We like to say that everything a person touches or uses during everyday life was handled at one time by a forklift truck. Eastern is a business-to-business company, and we rarely sell to consumers or the general public. Eastern, we were founded in 1971 by my dad, and we have 10 New Jersey locations and 27 locations in 7 states. Our Piscataway office is similar to all the other locations. It has an admin staff, customer service support staff, some shop equipment, and lots of inventory. The Piscataway branch is responsible for customers located in 6 New Jersey counties, plus Staten Island. Our inventory includes new and pre-owned forklifts, rental fleet trucks, parts, and ancillary warehouse products. And finally, our service center provides get-ready services for customer orders, such as customizations of forklifts, equipment preparation, and repairs. The majority of our service work is performed at customer locations, and our 32 road service technicians are dispatched from home and don't come into Piscataway daily.
Okay, so you mentioned you currently have a location in Piscataway. How long have you been at that location?
10 years, since 2015.
Okay. And talking about this site in particular, you talked about your on the road staff. How many employees will be working at this site?
In the site, we'll have 32 employees, to 22 office staff, and roughly 10 warehouse people. In addition to that, there'll be 44 employees assigned to the branch, but but they work remotely. They're out on the road.
Okay, so that's what you were referring to with the road service personnel or
And
sales
salespeople.
personnel. Okay.
Yes.
So the current operation that they have there, can you talk about how that compares to the current operation that Binsky has there?
How does Pinsky compare to what we'll be doing?
Yeah, and just in terms of the office staff and that sort of a thing.
Well, the Binsky building is mostly all office. There's a little bit of warehouse, but there's 132 desks and offices and workspaces in Binsky. So we'll have considerably less on-site staff than Binsky currently does, based upon the floor plan and all of the offices that I saw when I walked through it.
Okay, so then based on the amount of parking, well over 100 parking spaces that are going to be provided, you have no doubt that that's going to be more than adequate to for your needs at the operation. Is that correct?
No doubt.
Okay. Let's talk about deliveries and truck traffic. Can you speak sort of that? What do you expect to be coming in each day?
Yeah, truck traffic deliveries, I categorized it into 3 different categories. Large equipment, which I'd consider flatbeds, 10-wheel rollbacks or 18-wheelers. I think we'll get average about 8 to 10 of those deliveries per day that move equipment. Medium-sized trucks such as UPS, FedEx, uniform trucks, step-down vans. I'm estimating about 4 to 6 trips a day from those vehicles, and roughly 18 other trips a day with just cargo vans or employees coming in and out.
Okay, so you think that's a reduction in sort of the traffic based on what's operating at the location currently? Is that correct?
That's currently what we have, what we do at our current location. So I'm transferring it over to here, but we have considerably less employees than Binsky does.
Okay. Can you talk about what are the anticipated hours of operation?
7 a.m. to 4:30, Monday through Friday.
Okay. Now, one of the things I mentioned is that we're going to be putting in a outdoor storage area. Can you please speak to what's going to be contained in that outdoor storage?
Yeah, the outside storage space that we're proposing is the same size space that we currently use in our other location on Stelton Avenue. And it can hold up to, we'll use it for forklift truck storage. It can hold up to 100 forklifts, and majority, 90% of those are 7 foot high, 84 inches or lowered. There'll be maybe 10% up to 10 trucks that are higher than that, roughly up to 14 feet high. And occasionally, very, very rarely, we'll have a port truck in that goes up to 25 feet high, but roughly 100 forklifts at a time at the most.
Okay. And now compared to some of the equipment that Foley has on the site across there, I think Foley has some items that are significantly higher, I would imagine.
Well, Foley's in the construction dirt business. For the most part, our forklift trucks are a lot smaller, and we're working with pallets of goods or the occasional large port truck. But they're a different business.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't believe I have any other direct questions of Mr. Pruitt. He's available for board questions.
Board members, do you have any questions of Mr. Pruitt? Okay, members of the public, I'd like to open it up so that you have any questions of Mr. Pruitt. Would you indicate so by waving your hand?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. My next witness would be Mike Marinelli from Menlo Engineering.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please spell your name for the record? Your last name?
It's Michael Marinelli, M-A-R-I-N-E-L-L-I.
Thank you.
Mike, if you can, I believe you testified here before, but if you can briefly go over your credentials so you can be accepted as an expert.
Surely. I'm a graduate of Rutgers University College of Engineering, class of 1999. Been practicing land use engineering at Menlo Engineering for the last 25 some odd years. I'm a licensed professional in the state of New Jersey and have been so for the last 18 years. My license is in good standing, and I've provided testimony in front of numerous boards across the state, including this one on 24 occasions.
He's acceptable.
I think you had him.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Marinelli, if you could please go through, you're familiar with the site, if you can please go through your plan and orient the board to the existing conditions and what we're proposing.
All right, if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen and turn it to the first of the exhibits that I'll be referring to. Everyone can see this aerial exhibit?
And Mike, we can mark this as A1.
Okay. The exhibit on the screen is entitled Eastern Lift Truck, Block 4001, Lot 5 acres, Existing Conditions Exhibit, dated 11/12/2025. It's an aerial representation of the site in its existing condition. The site is highlighted by a dark black line with white highlight. It's roughly rectangular with just a chamfer for the intersection. As you can see, it runs on the north side of Centennial Avenue, which is a divided roadway. So there's only right in, right out through the existing access point on this site. As I noted, it is on a corner lot. So on the left of the exhibit, or the west side of the property, is Kingsbridge Road, which is a 60-foot wide right of way, currently with no access off of that roadway. As you can see, the site is commonly known as 281 Centennial Avenue, and as I stated, is on the southbound Centennial Avenue roadway at the intersection of Kingsbridge Road. Overall, the property is approximately 5 acres and is located in the LI5 light industrial zone within the township. As you can see from this exhibit, it's surrounded by other industrial / office uses in the LI5 zone, but most notably, as Mr. Arch had mentioned, immediately to our east is the Foley truck lift. You'll see that they have 2 buildings with equipment to the rear of their buildings on the north side of Exhibit A1. This is an existing, our site is developed in the existing condition with a 41,550 square foot existing building. As you heard, it's currently occupied by an HVAC company that operates out of this location. The existing parking runs along the front of the building and mostly on the eastern and northern sides of the site, totaling 162 existing spaces. There is an existing drive-in door on the rear of the northeast corner of the existing building, and there are 2 existing dock positions in the alcove central to the northern facade. I'm now going to switch to my second exhibit. We'll mark this as Exhibit A2. It's entitled the Eastern Lift Truck, Block 4001, Lot 5 acres. Overall plan exhibit dated 11/12/2025. This is the same aerial photograph you saw in A1, zoomed in a little bit closer so that we can discuss the details of the site plan. The submitted site plan was rendered and the landscape turned on for the benefit of the board to see the proposed improvements. What the applicant is proposing to do is on the northwest corner of the existing structure, in the area of the 2 loading spaces that I referred to in Exhibit A1, construct a service center of approximately 18,089 square feet. That building will be taller than the existing building, which is 20 feet, and will be 31 feet in that area. Again, this is for service, repair, and fit out of purchased and or leased equipment that is part of the normal operations of Eastern Truck Lift. As part of the site improvements, you'll see the lighter shaded area is the area of pavement that we're modifying. We are because we are losing the two existing dock positions on the northern facade, we're moving them further east or adding two new dock positions further east on the northeast corner of the existing structure, as well as providing some storage spaces that are in an area that's already occupied by equipment. But you will note that on the north side, heading westward, we're actually also proposing an additional driveway connection to Kingsbridge Road. The purpose of this is to separate the employee parking and passenger vehicle traffic that would utilize the existing driveway along Centennial Avenue with the truck traffic that's anticipated to access this site. So all trucks would access the site off of the new Kingsbridge Road driveway. And then there's ample opportunity to maneuver to the newly located dock positions. Central to the, as I stated, this is a service center. So central to the building addition, which is approximately 162 feet wide, is a another drive-in or overhead door. So that equipment can come in and out, be serviced, and then return to what we're also proposing is a outdoor storage area of roughly 9,600 square feet on the most northeast corner of the property. This is all, and if I refer back real quick to Exhibit A1, this is all paved area in the existing condition. We're just utilizing that pavement for a different purpose. As you heard from the applicant, the additional parking spaces that are there in the existing condition are really no longer required for his operation, but he does have the need for the external storage of these forklifts. As you heard, roughly 90% of them are only 7 feet high. We've proposed a 6-foot high black powder coated chain link fence with slats on all four sides of that equipment. In addition, on the Centennial Avenue frontage, we've constructed a 4-foot high berm. It's actually a continuation of a berm that exists on the southwest corner of the Foley site. And then, as you can see, we've added additional landscape in that area to further buffer the visual aspect of the outdoor storage from Centennial Avenue. So we're providing a solid, in essence, a solid chain link fence with slats and a landscape berm immediately adjacent to the Centennial Avenue in order to mitigate any visual disruption of that outdoor storage. As I stated, because we have this new driveway, circulation is improved for emergency service vehicles. We have relocated the dumpster locations adjacent to that outdoor storage area so that it could be easily loaded and unloaded through that new access way to Kingsbridge Road. Because we are reducing the parking in that northeast corner of the property, we are proposing 117 spaces. We are also proposing to provide 6 EV parking spaces that will be constructed day one. It is noted in your planner's letter that EV spaces may not be required only because technically, if you read the new rule, you have to provide at least 25 new spaces. And the only new spaces that we're proposing are the 18 that appear along the northerly property line. So while technically we don't trigger the need for EV based on the state rule, the applicant is proposing to provide 6 spaces. With those 6 spaces, we would be given 6 EV credits. So we'd be providing 123 total spaces where 153 are required. As the applicant had mentioned, they have less than 50 people accessing this site on any given day. So we roughly have twice as many parking spaces that would be necessary for this operation should you find this application good for the town. The existing parking lot is in disrepair, and it was mentioned in the review letters that the existing pavement be repaired where necessary and topped and restriped. And of course, the applicant has agreed to do so. You'll note along the southern edge, along Centennial Avenue, there's a series of easements in Exhibit A2. This is for an ongoing existing infrastructure project that's being done as we speak along Centennial Avenue that will provide new sidewalk along that frontage. As a condition of the approval, the applicant has agreed to also extend that sidewalk along the western property line along Kingsbridge Road to the limits of the property. The applicant is not proposing any new signage. There is an existing monument sign. Unfortunately, you can't see it on Exhibit A2 because it's underneath this large tree near the ADA spaces. But they're only looking to replace the face of that sign that currently shows the existing occupant with their own logo and signage. They are also proposing a building mounted sign along the southern facade. Again, that would meet all ordinance requirements along that portion of the building. Additionally, as far as site improvements go, the township recently enacted a ordinance requiring fiber optics along the frontages as well as a junction box and conduit to the subject building. The applicant has agreed to comply with that and will not be requesting a variance for that condition this evening. I briefly mentioned the landscape, but overall, we're proposing 4 new shade trees, 6 ornamentals, 51 evergreens, 56 shrubs, and then an additional 49 shrubs in the basin area, 54 ground covers in the parking area, and 85 additional ground cover type plantings within the basin. So a significant landscape is being added to the site. We also met with the township landscape architect in the field prior to our application, and it was found that the existing evergreen line along the eastern property line was failing. A lot of the trees had become over mature and have either broken or fallen or were in bad shape. So the applicant agreed, and we provided a new evergreen screen between the subject property and the Foley property to our east. The applicant's also taken an opportunity to improve the lighting on site and converting it to all LED dark sky compliant fixtures. In all, we're proposing 7 pole-mounted fixtures at 24.5 feet tall and 8 new wall-mounted LED fixtures, again downcasting, at elevation of 17 feet. The lighting design incorporates a 0.5 minimum foot candle in the parking areas and a 1.48 average across the site. Again, this is both safe and adequate and meets industry standards, though technically Piscataway Township, I believe, has an ordinance that requires a maximum foot candle of 0.5 and an average of 0.5, which is very difficult to do. But we do have a 1.4 foot candle average provided. From a stormwater management perspective, the site drains south to north. You'll note on the northeast corner, there's an existing storm sewer easement. And basically most of the sites in this area, including lot 6 to our north, run to that area. Mr. Arch had mentioned earlier that it appeared in the tri-party staff letter that Mr. Herrera was indicating he'd like to see curbing along the northerly property line. However, as I said, this is all existing pavement that currently sheet flows off the site and into that area. And we'd like to maintain the existing drainage and flow in that area. I did speak with him, and he agreed that as long as your consultant engineer for the board, DNR Engineering, didn't have any issue with it, he would have no issue with it either. However, everything left of the proposed addition is new pavement, right? We're creating this new driveway that connects into Kingsbridge Road. So we're collecting that runoff and implementing a new stormwater management area, is a bioretention basin that will offset the additional impervious coverage, as well as provide the necessary water quality and groundwater recharge that is required by both the township ordinance and the NJDEP best management practices. As Mr. Barlow had noted, there was a letter from the Public Works. The initial submission was to outlet that proposed basin on the northwest corner of the property and outlet it into this easement central to the southerly property line. However, we weren't able at the end of the day to, once the basin was designed fully, to connect into that area. So we're actually discharging it to where all of that runoff goes today, to the northeast. So although it was noted in his letter that we should address that connection in the roadway, we're no longer proposing a connection to that roadway. As I stated, this new detention facility meets all the NJDEP standards for stormwater management, including volume, groundwater recharge, water quality, and mounding. As far as the proposals, what we're proposing this evening, I believe that wraps it up. I can take questions now or go right to the review letters, should the board.
Does the board have any questions at this time, at this point in his testimony?
The only one, Madam Chair, is that I just want to make sure, as long as Mr. Carley and Mr. Herrera are comfortable with the comments from Menlo Engineering, I have no problems with not doing the curbing, as long as our two engineers are comfortable with that.
And we
You
will
can
certainly
certainly-
agree that would be a condition that they would have to be to their satisfaction.
Okay, then I guess that concludes that portion of his testimony.
Okay, so to briefly go through the reliefs that we're seeking this evening, again, there's some existing nonconformances on site that are listed in the planner's review letter. That is from CME dated October 20th, 2025, including the parking landscape. Ordinance requires additional landscape in the parking area. Again, we're adding some perimeter landscape and buffer landscape, but we're not proposing to add any additional islands within the existing parking area. So that's a continuing condition. As I previously testified to, we're providing 123 parking spaces, where 153 are required, but I think you've heard testimony from both myself and the applicant that the proposed number of parking spaces will meet the needs of the operation. We're also seeking 2 setback variances, both rear and side yard, for an accessory structure. In our zoning, we had included the dumpster enclosure because it was an above ground structure as an accessory structure. But it was noted in both the staff's letter and the planner's letter that the outdoor storage should be considered an accessory structure. So although we're not expanding the limits of the existing pavement, where we have a 10-foot setback from the property lines, where 50 are required for a setback of an accessory structure. If the outdoor storage area is considered an accessory structure, then we need relief from that. As noted, when talking about Exhibit A1 and the surrounding areas, you can see that the adjacent properties have similar, if not more obtrusive, storage in the rear yards. Again, we've improved the aesthetic by not only shielding it, but providing a landscaped island or berm, I should say, in order to mitigate that storage area and those setbacks. We've also planted along that setback in order to have, so there'll be a line of evergreens in addition to the 6-foot high solid fence along both the northern and eastern side of that proposed outdoor storage. We also seeking relief for the lighting levels as discussed, the 1.48 foot candle average where 0.5 is required. Again, the 1.48 we feel is an industry standard. It's very difficult to have both a minimum and an average of 0.5. With reference to the engineering review letter from DNR Engineering dated November 11, 2025, they just asked that we update our pipe calculations, which we agree to comply with, as well as inspect the existing systems on and around the subject property, which of course we agreed to do. And then item 11 within their letter just asked for testimony regarding rock salt. The applicant does not propose to store rock salt on site, so we would not need relief or provide additional information in accordance with that ordinance. With respect to the planning review letter from CME dated October 20th, 2025, again, there's certain reliefs that were listed in there that we're not seeking. That includes the addition of fencing around the detention basin. The ordinance requires a fence around there. It was not on the submitted documents, but we will provide it as a condition of the approval, as well as the fiber optic along the two frontages. And I believe those are the only two listed variances that we're not seeking relief for this evening. There's also a design waiver for lighting at intersections. If the driveways are to be considered intersections per the ordinance, there is a 3-foot candle minimum requirement where we're proposing 0.6 foot candle. Again, meeting the minimum requirement of parking and loading. Also noting that there's existing lights along both Centennial Avenue and Kingsbridge that will help supplement the on-site lighting that are not modeled as part of our design. There's also several discrepancies within the zoning table that they'd like to see, as well as the additional relief that I discussed tonight added into a revised zoning table should you act favorably upon this application. And finally, as I spoke to the EV, they note that they're not sure that EV is required as part of this site, but the applicant has agreed to provide 6 EV spaces that will be installed day one.
Thank you, Mr.
That
Marinelli.
is all I have for the review letters.
Thank you, Mr. Marinelli. Mr. Marinelli is available for any additional questions based on his additional testimony.
Board members, do you have any questions of Mr. Marinelli?
Madam Chair, if I may, this is Dawn Corcoran. It's not a question. Well, it is a question, but I just want to be sure, Tim, that the staff report that the applicant agreed to has the last revision date of November 12th, 2025.
Yes, I believe that was the one that we got. I guess it would be today.
Today, right? Okay, perfect. Yes. I just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Again, with the exception of what we testified to, with the caveats that we testified to. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, we'll open it up to the public to ask Mr. Marinelli any questions. Members of the public, do you have any questions? If you do, please indicate by waving your hand.
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. Mr. Arch.
Thank you. I have no further witnesses. I would just indicate that I think what you've heard in the testimony is that we're taking a site along, an industrial site along Centennial Avenue. We are beautifying it, repurposing it, making it, a viable, productive, active site for an operation that's been in Piscataway for a decade and wants to grow here in Piscataway and wants to continue doing business here in Piscataway. And I think that we've shown that the relief that we are requesting is reasonable and can be granted without a detriment to the public. So thank you for your time and look forward to the vote.
Okay, you've heard the application, members of the board. What would you like to do?
Madam Chair, it's Councilwoman Cahill. I would ask the board to consider granting the relief as requested by this applicant, but also with the conditions that the applicant follow through with all of the agreements to the professionals report and including the engineer's final approval on that curbing being waived in order to mitigate, any change to the water management there.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Carol Saunders, second.
We can have a roll call now, Ms. Buckley.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny.
Yes.
Yeah, try the mic. He's raising. Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
I think he raised his
Ahmed?
hand. There he goes. He raised his
There he
hand.
goes.
Okay.
Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Rowe.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Second, Madam Chair.
All right. Oh,
Do you
good.
have a resolution? Do you have a resolution?
No, I just had to put everything back together.
Oh, okay. I'll slow my roll in.
Just,
Thank you.
I believe Mr. Dockney, who's going to be taking over to present the last redevelopment plan, is here. I can see him.
Okay.
He is logged in.
The next one is for the
Christopher.
Number 50.
So
50 Kingsbridge, 50 Knightsbridge.
yeah, at this point, I'm going to wish everyone a good night because I
Okay.
can't be here for this.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night, folks.
You too.
Thanks.
Night, Ron.
Thank you.
We're up to item 15 for discussion, the redevelopment plan for block 6201, lot 6.02.
We should have Miss Saunders swear Mr. Dockney in.
Okay.
Okay.
Certainly.
Mr. Daphne, can you please raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
Sure. Dochney.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You may proceed, sir.
Okay, thank you. I see we're after 9 o'clock now. We have a redevelopment plan here. I'm going to try and be relatively brief so I don't take up too much of your time. We have, as you said, this is a redevelopment plan for block 6201, lot 6.02, as well as block 7401, lots 2.02 and 2.03. And in case you all are not familiar off the top of your head with the exact properties on your tax map, that is the 108, give or take 117 acre tract right in the middle of town known as the Erickson campus. And this site was designated as an area in need of redevelopment by the Township Council Resolution 22-354, just a little over 3 years ago, November 10th, 2022, that was adopted. If you don't mind, I will share my screen so I can show the overall redevelopment plan, if that's okay. So I have sharing privileges.
That's fine.
Let's see. Okay, can you all see that?
Well, it's coming.
There.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just, I'm going to go through the plan, but this is the overall concept plan, which is the very last page of the redevelopment plan, if you've been provided a copy. So this is the overall plan for the area. This is, like I said, block 6201, lot 6.02, block 7401, lots 2.02 and 2.03. The 117 acre tract known as the Erickson campus, right on Route 18 or Hose Lane, right in the middle of town. I'll hit the high points of what this is. This is a redevelopment plan. So as I said, the area was designated an area in need of redevelopment 3 years ago by the Township Council after a redevelopment investigation was done by this board. And by law, under the local redevelopment and housing law, the town is then required to prepare a redevelopment plan for the effective redevelopment of the area. And as a result of a few years now of some processes involving my firm, as well as township staff and the township's affordable housing consultants, we have put together this plan, which is essentially creating a new superseding zoning ordinance for this entire tract to codify so that the plan that you see before you would be permitted as a redevelopment project. Get to some of the important things here. The site, as I said, 117 acres. All three of the properties right now, which they have addresses of 50 Knightsbridge Road, 2 Skiles Avenue, and 444 Hose Lane, or Route 18, all under common ownership and 117 acres altogether. and currently developed with the Erickson campus, the office complex there. I'll quickly get to sort of the heart of what the redevelopment plan is, which is the new zoning regulations, which would supersede your existing zoning, which is partially the town center district and partially, I believe, the office professional district, if I have that correct. But anyway, what we're proposing to do here is to separate this plan into essentially 3 distinct districts here. The single family district is what you see on the top left of the screen for 20 single family homes on a new cul-de-sac. Then the townhouse district, which would consist of townhouse residences, and then the bulk of the site along the Route 18 frontage is the mixed-use town center district, which would consist of commercial, retail, grocery store, pharmacy, multifamily uses, as well as plenty of residences in an existing tower on the site that's proposed to remain. So what we've done within the plan, I'm going to go through this pretty quick. I'm not going to be reading it to you page by page, is create essentially a new zoning ordinance for this site so that we're permitting all the uses that I just described, as a whole list of the different retail uses, new bulk standards for each of the uses in each of the districts, as well as very strict design standards for every type of building, so that you have quite a bit of control and you know exactly what's going to be coming under if something is developed under this redevelopment plan. So moving on. Well, very important to note, if you've been on this board for more than a couple of years, you are probably aware that 2 of the 3 properties that make up this site, namely Block 6201 Lot 6.02 and Block 7401 Lot 2.02, were the subject and technically are still subject to a general development plan approval for 2 of the 3 parcels here. And that overall, I believe, was a little over 1,100 units in residential units in total for that general development plan. And that still remains in place. That approval is in place. This would technically supersede the underlying zoning there, but that general development plan is still in place. And the remainder parcel, there's a capacity or a realistic development potential there on that 3rd parcel for 260 units is what we've calculated. So that's important to note. But also with this, both with that general development plan, but in particular with this redevelopment plan, one of the things we're doing here is this is going to be used to satisfy a pretty big chunk of your affordable housing obligation. So you all adopted your housing element and fair share plan back in June. And this plan does call for a 20% set aside of affordable housing units of the total potential of, I believe it is, where did I put that number? 1,380 new units plus 194 in the tower. This plan calls for a 20% set aside, which will be over 300 affordable housing units to help satisfy the town's fair share obligations there. Okay, then there's a number of requirements, not just related to building design, but also circulation, landscaping, utilities. Basically everything related to the development of this site is regulated by this plan. And then I think before I get into any questions that you might have, most importantly, the reason this is before you as the planning board, I do want to stress, although I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with redevelopment. Before I got on tonight, I understand there was another redevelopment plan, a redevelopment study that was presented to you. I want to make it clear that this is a concept plan for the overall proposed redevelopment. This is not a site plan that we are reviewing tonight and that you're voting to approve or deny any particular configuration you see here. But this is, since this is the redevelopment plan, by the redevelopment law, you are required, or before the governing body can act on adopting a redevelopment plan as an ordinance, it's required to go to the planning board for a review and your determination as to its consistency with your master plan. So I'm going to go over real quick why I feel this is consistent with your master plan. So your master plan was last adopted in 2020, and that was a re-examination report of the 2005 and 2008 master plans. There's a few goals and objectives of that plan that I think are relevant here. In particular, in 2005, your master plan was amended and included promoting a sense of community among township residents through continued development of the municipal civic center or town center area, as well as there was a mention in the master plan of a need to create a town center. And I have to point out that the existing zoning on much of the site is the town center district, which calls for mixed use development, which is exactly what we're proposing here. So essentially what is proposed by this entire redevelopment plan is a mixed use town center with a large residential component, as well as pretty substantial retail, like I said, grocery store, pharmacy. Calls for a town center that Piscataway essentially lacks right now. That's just something that's been called for in your master plan for some time. So primarily to that extent, I think this is substantially consistent with your master plan. And I would recommend that you all vote this evening to find that it is consistent with the master plan and pass this to the governing body so that they can move forward to adopt that. And that, very briefly, is the redevelopment plan overall. Now, like I said, I tried to be very brief. I don't know how many questions you might have, or if you have questions, but I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Chris, can I just ask you something by way, I guess, of clarification or edification, just so the board, everyone's on the same page? Because as you indicated, this was also the subject of the general development plan that the owner had filed, which is basically something that allows a large project to be planned out a number of years ahead of time so that zoning can't change, right?
Yes.
And I think what's important is that if the board takes your advice and approves the redevelopment plan, essentially pursuant to the redevelopment plan, the property owners within the redevelopment area could construct a total of 1,574 residential units within the redevelopment area, encompassing block 6201, block 6201, lot 6.02, and block 7401, lots 2.02 and 2.03.
That's correct.
And to avoid any inconsistency, if the property owner decided not to go with the redevelopment plan, they elect not to, if they decide not to go under this plan, then the total number of residential units that could be constructed on block 7401, lot 2.02 and 6201, and lot 6.02 is limited to what the general development plan filed and was approved on September 11, 2024, which was a maximum of 1,101 units, inclusive of the 194 units attributable to the existing tower on the property, right?
Almost correct. The general development plan, as far as I'm aware, is only for block 7401, lot 2.02, and block 6201, lot 6.02.
Okay.
Block 7401, 2.03 was excluded from the GDP.
Yes, and under those circumstances, the total maximum number of units that could be constructed on block 7401, lot 2.03 was limited to 260 units.
Yes.
Okay, so I just think it's important that if the resolution is adopted approving the redevelopment plan, that we have language indicating those limitations kind of an either or, so that anyone reviewing this down the road just knows what the numbers are.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes, I agree. It is 1101 as the general development plan for the two parcels and a potential for 260 more on the parcel that was not part of the general.
So that would basically be
1361.
1361. We don't want a situation where we're adding 1,500 to 1,300 and somebody says we get 2,800 or anything like that.
It's also important to note that this is a redevelopment plan for the area, which is essentially new zoning, but the general development plan has been approved. That's still technically in place. Yeah. We're not wiping away any rights from an existing developer that has come before this board and had approvals granted.
Okay, and just so we're on the same page, do you think that the redevelopment plan that you've proposed should at least maybe be amended or include a paragraph or two just addressing those alternate limitations?
Certainly it could be, yes.
Okay, and I think that's something that the redevelopment attorney would probably want, just so that the resolution adopting the redevelopment plan is consistent with the redevelopment plan. Would that make sense?
Yes, I have absolutely no objection to that.
Okay. Now, if I didn't make any sense, Dawn, please correct me.
I was following right along with you. It made
Okay.
complete. Thank you.
Okay, and you would agree that the redevelopment plan should just have language parroting the resolution if it's approved?
I agree.
Okay.
So the board is being asked to, this is Brenda, Brenda Smith. For clarification, the board is being asked to approve this redevelopment plan and send it to the council for reconsideration or for approval.
Recommending that, or indicating to the borough, to the municipal council that it's consistent with the master plan, which Mr. Dockney has indicated based on the master plan for a very long time, indicating a town center design, that it appears, and correct me if I'm misstating it, Christopher, that it's consistent with the master plan.
Yes, consistent with your master plan originally, as well as your housing element and fair share plan, which is the most recent element of your master plan you adopted, which specifically calls for these sites to provide affordable housing and at the densities and numbers as called for by this plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could,
Mhm.
it's Councilwoman Kale. So, Mr. Barlow, we are looking to send this redevelopment plan to the council. Is it essentially just to include that extra parcel? It kind of seems like it's mostly the same as the general development plan.
It is, and again, Chris or Dawn can certainly correct me. There is a difference because of one lot. And what we want to make sure is that when we send it back, that the resolution and the redevelopment plan acknowledge the difference as to the redevelopment plan and the general development plan. We don't want a situation where someone tries to add the two of them together and you end up with a lot more than either plan considered. So having spoken to the redevelopment attorney, he and I thought that it would be a good idea to just put in that additional language that it's kind of an either or, it's not both. You want either or, not and, you know.
And the either or
So
is
that
going.
so that the developer could either stick with the original plan as it was laid out, or adding this other parcel, it has to be accordance to this redevelopment plan.
Redevelopment plan.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Dawn's nodding her head, so I haven't messed up.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. The object of the redevelopment plan is to encourage redevelopment of the entire tract as a whole and into one greater cohesive project. And that's what we're hoping to achieve here.
Madam Chair, I would be remiss. The front section that we're talking about right here along Hose Lane, the owner slash developer wanted to basically destroy the town center concept and build Eastern Bloc Soviet Union styled housing there. That's not Piscataway Township. That may be good in Eastern Europe, but it's not good for Piscataway Township. So I think it's incumbent upon us to go ahead and pass this tonight. We need to send a strong message to the owner. Piscataway's not going to be stepped on. And enough's enough. We've been dealing with the owner for more than 7 or 8 years now. He's sold a good chunk of his plan to the general public at 3 public information sessions over our community center. The public bought in, and basically the company wants to destroy the whole town center concept. And that's not right. All I keep hearing about from the owner is that, oh, you know, I care about Piscataway, but this is not a way to care about a Piscataway. This is a way of, I'm not going to use salty language here, but I can. But, you know, it's not being done right by Piscataway, and we got to protect the Piscataway residents because this is our last shot at making a town center for this community, as well as providing amenities, some housing, and things along that line that people will be proud to call this a town center. What they're proposing is not a town center, unfortunately. It's something that if you go on a river cruise in Eastern Europe, you can see from the former Soviet Union right there, basically. But anyway, that's just some comments.
Any other comments from any other members of the board? We have to open it up to the public?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Before we make our motion. Members of the public, you've heard the presentation of this redevelopment plan and as to whether it's consistent with the master plan. Do you have any comments on his presentation? Would you indicate by raising your hand?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Closed to the public. Okay, members of the board. I think you're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I'd like to make a motion recommending that the Township Council adopt the Erickson Site redevelopment plan as presented to the board.
And Dawn, with the language I indicated and that one amendment to the redevelopment plan also?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
That's the language including the fact that it's consistent with the master plan?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Carol
I hear a
Saunders,
second?
second. Carol
Thank you.
Saunders, second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny. He's waving. Mr.
Mhm.
Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Waving,
Mr.
okay.
Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes.
Been a day.
Okay. And
Thank you
it's
all.
approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Um,
Tom, do we have a
Item number-
resolution for this to be adopted?
does he have a resolution?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's do the resolution now.
I
Ms.
have it.
Saunders? Do
Okay.
you have it, Ms. Saunders?
Mhm.
I'm looking
You have
in
it.
my I do. Okay, I'm just looking to see what, because I got several different things from you, so I wasn't sure
It's been
which
that
one it was
day.
attached to. Huh?
Yep, it's been that kind of day.
The
Okay.
resolution recommending adoption of the Erickson Site redevelopment plan is the title.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, Madam Chair, I'd like to memorialize the resolution for the Erickson Site redevelopment plan, block 6201, lot 602, block 7401, lots 2.02 and 2.03.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Reverend Kenny's
Reverend
waving that
Kenny,
hand.
Reverend Kenny.
second. Okay, roll call.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny. Yes,
He's
Mr.
waving his
Atkins,
hand. Mhm.
Yes.
Mr. Foster, Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank
It goes
you.
to the town council. Okay. Item number 16, discussion of 1690 South Washington Avenue, block 571.
Madam Chair, I'll just briefly do a quick explanation. I know it's been a long evening. Ms. Elgard is here on behalf of the applicant who originally handled this matter before the board. This was M&M Realty Partners at Piscataway, which was application 22 PB 13 and 14V. There was a condition in the original resolution that the board adopted that indicated if there was a light to be placed on South Washington Avenue, that they would have to come back before the planning board for site plan approval of the light. It turns out it's a county road, so it's the purview of the county planning board, not the Piscataway Township Planning Board. And I believe you may have been on that road. You'd realize there's a temporary light there right now. And I believe, and the plan is once the applicant's done, it will line up the light so it's lined up with the ecological preserve. So Ms. Elgard, on behalf of the applicant, wrote to say, do I really have to come back before the planning board for this one minor condition, since the county planning board's going to be handling it anyway? And frankly, this board couldn't tell the county planning board what to do with the light anyway, since it's their road. So what she's seeking, and she can correct me after my spiel, which I'm about to end, is they're looking to just amend the resolution to take out the one line that said they had to come back before the Piscataway Planning Board for site plan approval for this light that the county planning board is handling.
So we're amending the previous resolution.
Of approval to take out that the applicant must come back for the light on the county road for site plan.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Counselor,
Yes.
Mr. Barlow, I have a question. I don't have a problem with that, but I want to make sure when the new signalized intersections in that we've always asked for a backup battery generator there at the lights, working with the county, and we're going to need conduit line for security cameras on the extension poles. So I just want to make sure that's in our resolution in order to waive that requirement. That's all.
Ms. Elgart?
I mean, it's not a big deal with the county because we do that on all the county roads right now with them in conjunction.
I'd have to get back to you about that one. I'm just not sure. It might be fine. I just don't know.
Yeah. All right, we can make that subject to a developer's agreement.
Well, Ms. Elgart, it sounds like if you want a resolution, if you want the discussion to result in action tonight, that seems to be something you'd have to agree to.
Engineering wise, Counselor, it's not going to be a big deal because the county does this, engineering department does this all the time. So.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if I can get you an answer right now. So just give me a moment. But I think it should be no problem. So it'd be fine to include it in the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mayor, they would just work with the township engineering department.
Yeah,
with
the
county.
engineer. I mean, Mr. Herrera knows, working with Mr. Sender at the county engineering department. They know what we always ask for on the at the signalized intersections.
So it's conduit that you're asking for and a
So
backup
it would
generator?
be, Counselor, it would be a conduit on the traffic stanchion pole in order for us to put a security camera so we can face the park entrance and along the roadway. And then also to incorporate a 1 or 2 hour backup battery for the light system, because when the light goes down, it has a battery. And normally the new ones now have a cell phone that goes to whoever's just want to know that the light's on flash.
Okay.
It's the new technology that's out there with the traffic signalized now.
I apologize, I'm not up to speed on it, but we
Yeah,
can.
and also there should be a quick connect for a backup generator. So if we have to run a generator out there, there's a quick connect. It would be in your interest to have that there, business wise.
We can agree to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that caveat, Mayor, that's what they're seeking is, again, relief from that condition.
The signalized intersection will be the new federal standards. It'll have the braille crosswalks, the ones that talk for anybody to walk across and things like that, the new federal standards.
And again, I don't, because this is so de minimis, it's not a major condition. I agreed with the applicant that it didn't require notice or publication because it is a de minimis change.
Okay, so
I
What are
had
we doing?
prepared, 3 paragraphs just to be brief, and, Mr. Barlow just shortened it down to 0.
I knew the board was tired.
That's good.
Does the board have any questions? Okay, then I would open it to the public, Madam Chair, real quick.
Okay, members of the public, do you have any questions regarding the issue of the lights on South Washington Avenue, the realignment of the lights, the traffic light? Ms. Buckley, you see any?
I'm looking, no one, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. Okay, then we can take a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion.
Okay. This is the motion to make the correction. Do I have a second?
Carol Saunders, second.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Mr. Barlow,
Yes.
I just wanted it to
No
be
problem.
clear if the motion could be, to waive the condition to require the amended site plan, for the installation of the permanent traffic signal, just so it's clear and not that it's reconfigured in some way.
Understood. Perhaps,
Sorry. I didn't mean to
Perhaps,
interrupt you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Right.
your motion is to remove the condition requiring site plan approval for the light on South Washington, subject to the applicant's agreement to the items indicated by Mayor Wallen.
That is my motion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And as seconded by
Ms. Saunders.
Me, Carol
Ms.
Saunders.
Saunders. Okay, roll call.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Yes.
Reverend Kenny,
Raise your hands like you just
Mr.
don't care.
Atkins, Mr. Foster, Mr. Ahmed,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. And we have at last come to item 17. Before that, everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Good night, Madam.
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
thank you.
Good night, everyone. Happy
Good
Thanksgiving.
night.
Thanksgiving.